Okay, so finding a comfortable seating posture. Make sure your shoulders are back and down. Open up your chest. Align your back with your neck. So we have extra friends in the meditation hall now. So the flies. Yeah, so just allow them to be what they are and don't follow them with the mind. That's what the mind does. It follows. Just stay with your object. Just allow the flies to be. You don't need to concentrate on them. Yeah? So bring the mind inwards into the sphere of the body. Allow the flies to be. Don't follow. Unite body and mind. Feel very present. Your body and your mind are at the same place and at the same time. Again, bring your awareness to the areas of your body touching the cushion or the chair on the ground. And like that, stabilizing your posture, grounding. Then centering, bring your awareness to your spine. It's more like an energetical alignment, finding your center. And then bringing your awareness to the center of your chest, your heart chakra, the area associated with loving kindness, wisdom, compassion, respect, self-respect, humility, all the good qualities. And like that, generating an altruistic heart. We're going to do this practice not only for ourselves, but may it become a conducive, beneficial factor for others as well. By training our minds, may we become better human beings for the benefit of all. And with those three things in mind, let's continue by inhaling deeply. When you're inhaling, it's as if you will be a sponge, you know? You inhale, you absorb. And when you exhale, exhale slowly. Squeeze that sponge, release any dirt. Squeeze that sponge and release the tension of the body. Squeeze that sponge with the exhalation and release any tension of the mind. Continue breathing deeply. And soften, soften your experience. Become fluid, not so rigid. Loosen up. Breathe in deeply. And with the next exhalation, soften your whole body. Soften your facial expression, not so serious. Open the area between your eyebrows. Create space, consciously create space. Release and relax your body and mind. Release and relax your body and mind. And take a last deep breath. Just for a few moments, allow your body to go back to its natural rhythm of breath and just observe that. Just observe your whole experience of being right here, right now, just breathing. Just observe. allowing everything to be without getting actively involved. For a few moments, just breathe, be, and let go. Also, like that, with a very serene and relaxed mind, now bring your awareness to your abdomen. And so while you are relaxed, now focus. Bring your awareness there 100%. With determination, with curiosity. Observe every single movement at your abdomen while it's contracting and while it's expanding. Engage with the practice. The mind wanders, you bring it back. It wanders, you bring it back. Okay, very good. So take a few nice deep breaths. Take a last deep breath. We'll have a short break, so if you need to stand up, please do so. If you need to stretch, please do so. Okay. So in preparation for the second round, so good posture. So grounding ourselves. Centering and opening. Feeling fully present, we pull the mind inwards. Park anything that needs to be parked. Be willing to put things aside for now. So we can fully engage in the practice. So of course, you always have a choice. You can put a little bit of effort and try it out, or you can continue with your monkey mind. But if you want to engage in the practice, then there has to be some sort of willingness to apply the technique. So joyful effort. So with that in mind, let's take a few nice deep breaths. Breathe in, replenish. Breathe out, release, relax your body and mind. Don't hold yourself so tightly. Release, loosen up. We're fluid, organic beings. Soften your facial expression. Open up your forehead. Open the area between your eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Relax your facial expression. Like this. Feeling in harmony within yourself and with your environment. Take a last deep breath. And now happily place your attention fully to your abdomen. Happily, it's like, okay, let's go for 5 minutes. Follow with your mind every single movement that you can feel at your abdomen while you breathe in, every single movement that you can feel at your abdomen when you breathe out. Just keep it simple and keep it powerful. Stay put with your practice. You don't need to touch the mind or do comments, just observe the abdomen, okay? Okay, very good. Again, take a few nice deep breaths. Take a last deep breath. We have a little break. If you need to stand up, stretch your legs. Okay, so in preparation for the third round. And so for this third round, now we're going to shift our object. Okay, so we're going to use the nostrils now. Yeah. So the holes inside your nose. Yeah. When you breathe in and out, yeah, there are very subtle sensations there. You're going to just observe those. Just observe the sensations at your nostrils. Yeah. So let's try it out. So again, pull the mind inwards. Mind and body together in the same place at the same time. Feel that presence. Embody that presence. And be willing to disengage with anything else. Switch everything else off. And go in. And feeling grounded. Centered. And open. Take a few nice deep breaths. Breathe in deeply. Please breathe deeply. We're using these deep inhalations and exhalations as medicine. They're so supportive to this practice. Breathe in as a sponge. Breathe out and squeeze that sponge and release, relax and let go. Cleanse yourself. Washing away anything and everything that needs to be washed away. Washing away, washing away. It's as if we will be having an internal shower. You see, you breathe in, you bring the nourishment. You breathe out, you cleanse, you wash away, you detach from your system anything that is not beneficial, supportive, constructive. You breathe it out. Like that. You take a last deep breath. And now you bring your awareness to your nostrils. You're just observing, not commenting, not inner dialogue, not mental fabrications. You're just observing the sensations at your nostrils while you breathe naturally in and out. Glue your mind to your nostrils. Become attentive and vigilant and tune in. The mind wanders, you bring it back. It wanders again, you bring it back. Don't go out shopping or traveling with your mind. Train it. Okay, very good. So take a few deep breaths. Take a last deep breath. And if you need to stretch and stand up, have a little break. Okay, so um, are there any questions so far about the practice?
I'm having trouble keeping my eyes just open. I want to completely shut them all the time.
Yeah.
That's just practice, I suppose.
Well, the thing is, like, if you're used to, meditating with your eyes completely closed, it, it's harder, because you created a habit, you know. Um, The trouble is that when we close our eyes completely when we sleep, you see, and so the mind kind of like connects that closing the eyes completely to going to falling asleep. So that's why I suggest, to allow them to open. So I mean.
Kind of got one eye shut and one slightly open.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, as long as the eyes don't become your object of meditation, So, I mean, if you're really struggling with it, and it's really difficult to allow some light to come in, and, you just can't do it, I would suggest let that go and focus on the nostrils from now on, because then you're meditating on what's going on with the eyes, so you're not really meditating. Um, I mean, the more we progress on our meditations, the more we open our eyes. Eventually, very advanced meditators, they meditate with their eyes kind of completely open, and they gaze at the space in front of them. You know, so that's what we are trying to aim. But if this kind of like very advanced meditations, might not be for you, then just do what you can with what you have right now. As long as you don't fall asleep. As long as you don't fall asleep. Are you struggling with that? With
I am today.
yeah, today?
Right. We'll try it tomorrow. I'll make it my intention.
No, you tried today, not tomorrow. Today. You tried today. Um. So yeah. So what are the two main obstacles for our practice? Yeah, one is falling asleep, and the other one? Huh? Sorry. Yeah, monkey mind. So distraction, and forgetfulness. Remember when I gave you the definition of mindfulness? Were you mindful at that time? Remember or not? Does anyone recall what it was? Huh? Without and forgiveness. So those are the two main obstacles, you see. So we're trying to focus on an object, the abdomen, the nostrils, tomorrow the mind, without these two obstacles. Okay. So how to work with them? If these are the two main obstacles, how to work with them? So that's why we do a lot of the deep breathing at the beginning. Yeah. Because when you breathe in, yeah, when you breathe in, you're bringing in energy. When you breathe out, you're releasing. Yeah, you're releasing the tension, the monkey mind, all that, right? So if your obstacle is, drowsiness or forgetfulness or sleepiness, all these things, how can the breath assist you with that obstacles? What should you focus at that time? Using the breath, what can help you at that time? Not you, Saya. Okay. Oh, really? Is that something I said? Using the breath, using the breath, how can the breath assist you when you feel drowsy? No, you guys are getting too complicated. It's way more simple than that. We've done it at the very beginning. Every beginning of the practice, yeah, we do deep inhalations and deep exhalations. What is the purpose of the deep inhalation? Okay, so if you feel drowsy and you feel sleepy, what do you think would be a good thing to do? Yeah, you breathe deeply. Does it make sense? Are we communicating, guys, or are you with me? Yeah? Yes? Yeah? Okay. So when you breathe deeply, yeah, when you breathe deeply, so if you're trying to do a practice and you're totally like, going just to bed, maybe what you need to do is you need to open your eyes a little bit more. You need to open your eyes a little bit more. You need to maybe get some bright light, yeah, a little bit of I don't know. You might want to look a little bit into the window. You're trying to wake up, yeah, and you breathe deeply. You bring in the energy, yeah. Now, if you're obstacle is distraction. Do you have that obstacles, guys? Or you do? Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, we all have these two obstacles. Yeah. So what aspect of the breathing can help you? Oh, come on, guys. What part of the breathing? Why? Yeah, you're relaxing, you're releasing, right? You're letting go. So this is a little bit how it goes. Okay, I guess I put this one in here. Oh, these complicated things anyway. Okay, so okay, so this is what we call, anyway, my handwriting is terrible. So this is what we call the sweet spot. This is when your mind is actually, on your object. Yeah, you're kind of like focused there. Yeah, had you had a little bit of that experience yet? A little? Yeah, yeah, okay. But the idea is that becomes very short, yeah? Yeah, and then with the practice it becomes longer. Yeah, and longer. And longer, yeah? Okay? But unless if you have even if you have that, it's okay for now. Yeah? Okay? So okay, so that's what we call the sweet spot, that's how I call it, yeah? So the main obstacles, yeah? Yeah, is that your mind is too high, is too tense. Your radio is on. Yeah, on with intensity. So the news are really heavy, and it's happening, in Syria or in Chile and all this stuff, like really intense, and the volume is really high. Yeah, so your mind is too high. Yeah, so if your mind is too high, why do you need to do it? What do you need to do? Yeah, so you need to calm it. You need to relax it. You need to release. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a different issue.
Okay. Wait. Stay with the issue a little bit more. Okay. Let me finish here. Good to have issues because this is a place to talk about, but park it for a little moment. Yeah. So your mind is to you release. So you're there, you're trying, and uh, so here, what you need to do, what part of the breathing you need to focus on? Out. Yeah. So you breathe out. I'm giving you antidotes. Yeah. So you need to breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. If your mind is too low, like yeah, you're losing it. You're losing the lucidity. You're losing the vividness. Yeah. So here your mind is too high. Here your mind is too low. What you need to do? You breathe in. Yeah. Does it make sense? So it's so simple. It's not this and that and the count and the, no. It's just stay with the breath. Use the breath to assist you. Yeah. So when we're trying to focus, the idea is that you're trying to remain on your object and continually check what your mind is doing. That's what we call mindfulness. The mindfulness is you're trying to focus on an object without these two things. You're checking what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. Introspection. With mindfulness, you will have introspection. Yeah. So let's talk about your stuff.
So I find that I'm in the sweet spot the majority of the time, and it's breath that throws me out. So like when I'm just focusing on the object, I've got no problems. But the moment, like, you mentioned the breathing stuff, I don't know. I that's when I start getting distracted. It seems to work against me. I don't know.
Okay, but let's try to unpack it.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so we are breathing. So we get into the posture and we're doing the deep inhalations and exhalations. There, you're okay with the breath? When we breathe in deeply and when we relax and exhale.
I kind of don't often do what you're saying in terms of the breathing at the start, because I feel like that forces my breath into an unnatural rhythm, and then that distracts me. But when I just kind of tune in with what my inner knowledge is regarding my breath and just, I don't seem to have any issues.
Okay, so when we do the breathing deeply and trying to, you just continue breathing on your own. Is that what you're doing? You just continue
Yeah,
breathing?
and then sometimes I feel, oh, well, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So, I try and kind of calibrate to what you're suggesting, and I just find that messes me up. It doesn't seem to work for me.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's why. I mean, I suggest things. Thank you for using the word suggestion. I suggest things, yeah, and you pick up on what it works for you. I mean, you mentioned the counting. I'll come back to your counting again. Just we park it there for a little while. But if the inhaling, because it is an unnatural way of breathing. It's just that we use it because we're so, like, normally we're so difficulty that people have is that they don't know how to relax. And if you don't know how to relax, it's going to be impossible to even place your mind somewhere because you're like, it's just like machine. So that's why we do a lot of this breathing. But if you don't need it, if you don't need to kind of like let go and release, that's fine. That's fine. So when we come to the object, let's say the nostrils, and we're just breathing naturally and we're just doing the practice, how are you doing with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I was like, I guess maybe I was judging like, oh, I should be doing it that way. And then that was, I think, throwing me out because I was like, oh, but I'm not, yeah.
Sure. So when we come to the object, it's fine. You can tune in and it's good. So what do you do if you get distracted? What antidotes do you use?
I go back to just breathing what feels natural.
Yeah, you're breathing naturally. Just let's go back to the nostrils.
Okay.
You're breathing naturally. You're breathing naturally, and then your mind goes and thinks about, I don't know, strawberries, whatever. I mean, we think of all these random things, I mean, the mind can be so random sometimes. So what do you do when you get distracted?
I just bring it back.
You bring it back, and it gets distracted, and then you bring it back. Okay, all right. Because another thing is, even if you're breathing, these antidotes are really good if you have a high level of distraction or a high level of forgetfulness. Yeah, so these are really good. But then, if your levels of distraction and forgetfulness are not so high, if you're a little bit more abiding that sweet spot, and then you had random things, you bring it back. But also, if it's still bothering, you might be willing, while you're still breathing naturally, to just breathe the distraction out. Like you breathe out the thought that is distracting you. You see what I mean? So not only you're trying to release the tension of your mind, but for those random more things, that might not be so heavy, you might just want to breathe it out and let it go while you're still, breathing deeply. Breathing naturally. This is more, you're doing your practice, you see that you're going bananas, you're falling asleep. So instead of focusing on the object, you pause and you do a little bit of breathing in deeply and breathing out. Yeah, this is an antidote. Yeah, this is an antidote. Yeah, so you do that. You pause. You see where you're at. You're not like going, no. I'm just you're breathing that, and you're breathing deeply. Breathe out, or whatever it is that you need, and then you bring then you bring your mind back to your object. See what I mean? But then, if you're breathing naturally and your distraction or your forgiveness is not so, it's not so intense, you can, continue breathing naturally and release the distraction, or just focus a little bit. If you feel a little bit drowsy, but not too much, just focus in the naturally breathing in. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? So, anything else before? Yeah.
I really struggle with this one. It's the one thought. Constantly, I'm really struggling with it. I just need to breathe out and just ignore the one.
Yeah, let it be.
Let it be. I'm voicing.
Yeah, it happens. That's why I mean, it's yeah. I mean, with things, I mean, it's quite interesting. With things, it's like in our daily life, it's just that we are so familiarized and accustomed to engage with everything. We see something, oh, I like or I dislike or neutral. Everything that we engage on, everything that we see, we kind of somehow engage. I like, I don't like, or neutral. So we are continuously engaging with external objects and with internal objects. Whatever thought we pay attention, we think about it. This too much, you see. We just can allow things to be. Just allow things to be without. Things don't need your constant, judgment or criticism or approval or whatever. They don't. I mean, we're all kind of doing our own thing. It's just that we kind of. So it's a bit of like letting that go, letting that go, and allowing things to be, allow things to be like how they are, so or allow beings to be, so with the fly, I mean, with these kind of things, it's all about the mind, it's all about the mind. We have the capacity to train, transform, transmute the mind. Yeah, it's like it would be like another muscle, in our bodies. There's some athletes that they are amazing with the things that they do, or artists. They're amazing with the instruments that they play. It's just that they become very familiarized with that, and it just takes years and years of practice. Yeah, the mind functions the same way. It's just that we don't have that familiarization, But the mind has this amazing capacity to be trained, to be controlled, to be able to let go of those negative thoughts and patterns, and invite good qualities, So then what happens is internal, or external objects of the mind, yeah, instead of becoming an obstacle for your development as a inner being, yeah, what you do is that you use them, you transform them, you see. So whatever obstacle, because it's all about how we see things, so if you label the fly annoying, it will be annoying, if you like another example, a situation, just a random situation, is up to you. If you want to label it, like difficult, it's this and that, it will be difficult, this and that. But if you willingly want to label it as, okay, opportunity to growth and an opportunity to transform and to learn, a challenge, then it will become that. You see, it's all about what you want to do.
Is that about intention?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. We are going to talk about intentions, but this is more about how to transform our minds. So think it's up to you. You can see things as how to say, as threatening, or you can transform them and seeing as something to work with, something to develop yourself, So it's like that. I mean, sounds actually are very beneficial when we meditate, because if you are hearing sound, it means that you're still present. But the thing is that you're not engaging in the sound. You're using it as a buffer to go more inwards. Does that make sense? Yeah.
I've got tinnitus. So I was advised to
Oh, okay. Okay. Doing that has been useful for you? And so far, how has it been?
well, it is concentrating on.
So concentrating on not hearing, how has that been for you?
That's fine.
And so when you concentrate, how is that for you? I mean, how are these two different techniques that you have been using, have they been working for you? Ah, and how are you going with it so far, with concentrating on it?
Well, it's difficult. It's exacerbated by concentrating on it doesn't appear it, it's more in space than I think. But I was thinking that maybe, if I just keep, watching it, that it might.
Well, I don't know who gave you the advice. So I don't want to, if it was a professional, someone that, because I can give you what I think, but I'm not a specialist, you know. Have you gone to a specialist about, have you visited a specialist to help you with that?
Like a doctor.
Or a psychologist or something, or no, a psychologist, or have you talked to a professional about it, or can I think about it and I come back to you maybe in one-on-one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, please. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Not pay it any attention with his headaches to give it no attention, not give it attention,
Yeah. I mean, I agree with them, but I don't know. That's why I wanted to ask you more who this person was, because I don't want to contradict someone that maybe you have a lot of, I don't know, respect for. I just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know this person that gave you that suggestion, so that's why I wanted to have a one-on-one. And okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've got a question around objects.
Mhm.
So I know that like we've practiced like the abdomen and like the nostrils. Can you kind of use any body part equally as kind of effectively as an object, like your spine or your feet or?
The thing is, like with the spine and your feet, they don't have some sort of movement while you meditate.
That's true.
So what you want to do is you want to engage on something that it will keep you engaged. I mean, you can use your feet, but I mean, what I'm saying is that you can, if it's helpful, is because when we come to awareness of awareness, just looking at the mind, um, you know, the mind itself, the conventional nature of the mind itself, is what we call is clear and knowing. Yeah. So the mind is synonymous, as we talked about. The mind is synonymous with what? We talked about it. The mind is synonymous with
Consciousness.
and yeah, and awareness. Yeah, yeah. So that this consciousness and awareness, that it doesn't have form. So the mind is formless, is colorless. You see what I mean? So, but it does have the internal movements of the mind. Yeah. But the mind itself is colorless, is formless, and it's the nature of awareness. So it actually doesn't move unless you're having internal objects. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can concentrate on your feet. But if you're a beginner and the feet are not moving, it's going to be very hard. That's why we're trying to use objects that they have some sort of movement that we can engage. And then from a very gross, we go to a more subtle. And then for more subtle, we go to the more subtle that is the mind. But even the mind, when you're trying to look at the mind, yeah, you're trying to become familiar with the mind while there's all these objects happening. The thing with looking at the mind is just that it will be quite beneficial to see how your mind looks like. you know. So that's the difference between an object that it actually doesn't move, yeah, and their feet only when also when you meditate don't move, but there's no much benefit at using at your feet.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I guess the reason I asked the question is like when I meditate, like I feel a lot of internal energy moving through my feet and my spine in particular. And in a way, it's it possibly feels a lot more tangible to me than the more physical movements, such as like breath out through my nostril or through my abdomen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can allow that energy to flow and all that. But because it's energy flowing and we want to focus on the mind, we want to establish some sort of stability and with stability, clarity. Yeah. If you're concentrated on this energy flowing, your mind is permanently moving, on that flow. What we want to do with this particular practice is we want to steal the mind. We want to place it. We want the mind to calm down.
But I do find that calms me down a lot more because I kind of feel like when I'm in touch with my internal energy, like it's kind of like a direct highway to my mind awareness, like focusing on the more physical movements. It almost pushes my awareness a little bit more external rather than internal. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. We all have different experiences. I'm just suggesting a particular method, So you can just listen to the method and see how you go with it. And then when you're home, you can combine it with different things, You can do this and then you can do your energy thing. I'm just suggesting this practice. Yeah? Just suggesting this practice. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with my nose at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I can hear that.
yeah. So yeah, it's not like sometimes it comes more and sometimes it's less. So yeah, it's not so nice because yeah, we are doing meditation, so I don't know how to treat with it.
Well, I mean, it will go, yeah, probably, yeah. Maybe you have a little bit of allergy or something like that, yeah. Yeah. It happens quite a lot here in this area. So if focusing on your nostrils, is difficult with your blocked nose to focus on your nostril.
So at the moment it's not really blocked, but it's going and I have to squeeze it.
Oh well, I mean, we have physical needs. You just be patient with it. But can you focus on your nostrils when you? Then it's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, there's nothing if you have allergy, you have allergy. I mean, we have this physical body, right, that will have its things. So just be patient. I mean, we don't mind, just do what you need to do and don't.
Feel better while meditating. You're not so bad at time around. I'm not meditating, so.
Sure. Sure, because the mind is probably more calm, Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to talk about the counting or?
No, it's just something that I think when I came here years ago, that's what they were doing. And the teacher said was counting. That seemed to help, particularly when I was learning.
Sure. Yeah, at this, probably in every course that I give, people ask if that's a good technique. And again, I'm saying I'm just showing another way of doing it. You can try out this and then go home and as well. If it helps you to count, you can count. I don't use it. I don't use that method. I guess for many reasons. And one is because for me, counting there's some sort of conceptual kind of interpretation of something, So is that you're still kind of somehow you are not just merely observing, there's some sort of like mental fabrication, So I don't know. If it works for you, use it. But I don't. Yeah, I don't use it. Yeah.
For beginners, they've got monkey brain. Keep going back to number one again, which is
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, if it works for people, great. I think that I use other techniques for beginners. Maybe these ones. Yeah, something that is not again engaging. But yeah, if it works for you, go for it. Yeah, or whoever. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Anything else, guys?
The mantra.
Um, Not for this practice. No. Mantra is another aspect of Tibetan Buddhism. It's more connected with the Mantrayana, the Vajrayana Tantra. It's not something that we use on this path. This is more the Sutra path. Um, so you can recite mantras throughout the day if you want to, if you want to. But for this particular practice, we don't use it. Yeah. So you had another question because I just want to go back to that, but I just.
Yeah, so maybe if you have problems with opening, let your eyes open, maybe just to sit to just more and face to it. Could that be maybe?
Yeah, that's what the Zen people do. They open their eyes and they look at a wall, normally a white wall. Yeah. Tibetan Buddhism, they also use it, but yeah, they're quite advanced that they can have a very colorful, meditation hall like this one, and they don't get distracted by it.
Maybe for the beginning that could be easier if you
Sure.
always.
Yeah, sure. Or don't have a busy kind of like carpet like this, or don't have a busy thing, just have a more neutral kind of like frontal visual environment. Yeah. Yeah. So why I'm saying that, no mantra and all these things is because the idea of this practice of being, using mindfulness in Tibetan Buddhism, yeah, Chandrakirti is part of, Tibetan Buddhism. There's different types of Buddhism. Yeah, there's mainly two types. Yeah, what we call the Theravadan and what we call the Mahayana. Yeah, so there's two different types of Buddhism. They all became, they all came from the same historical Shakyamuni Buddha. Yeah, but it kind of with the years, Shakyamuni Buddha came 2,600 years or so. Yeah, it branched out a little bit. So how Buddhism nowadays look like is there's two main branches. Yeah, and they have the branches coming from that. Yeah, so so Tibetan Buddhism is what is the branch that it comes from the Mahayana lineage. Yeah, so there's two lineages, Theravadan and Mahayana. Yeah, and in Mahayana you have different lineages as well. You have the Zen Buddhism, you have the Chinese, you have the Tibetan. Yeah. Okay. So with this particular practice that we're doing, which it's very foundational to Theravadans and Mahayana. They're focusing on the breath. Yeah. And the main idea is to simply try to train the mind in concentration. Yeah. So there are two types of meditations. Yeah. There are two types of meditations in this Mahayana Tibetan Buddhism. Yeah. One is called placement meditation. Placement. Yeah. You're placing the mind, you're trying to concentrate the mind. And the other one is called analytical meditation. Yeah. You're analyzing an object. Yeah. So with this particular practice, what we're trying to do is we're trying to use these three objects, yeah, the abdomen, the nostrils, and the awareness, to try to concentrate the mind, yeah, to try to have it what we call, with a lot of training, single pointed concentration. Yeah, we're trying to concentrate the mind. Yeah. And at the same time, for to try to assist us with that, we use what we call analytical meditations. Yeah. So for this particular course, we won't do analytical meditations, but I would like to give you, like a little taste of what it is, but you will do it on your own tonight. Okay, you're doing it on your own tonight. Okay, so what does this mean? Is well, there's analytical meditations are again, it's a meditation, so we're trying to get familiarized with something. Yeah, so with analytical meditations, we're trying to get familiarized with a particular concept or situation because we're analyzing something. Yeah. So one of the analytical meditations that that are very helpful is what they call the self-inquiry analytical meditations. Self-inquire, So is what we call the self-therapy. So initially, what we are trying to do, we're trying to calm the mind. We're trying to calm the mind, but also we want to take care of those aspects in our lives that need to be taken care of. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So, for example, what I would like you to do tonight, if you have time, if you're willingness, if you want to try it out, and then we can talk about it tomorrow, is I like you to choose something in your life at the moment that is triggering you. Triggering. You know that? You know that word? Yeah. So it's something in your life, it could be a very, very old thing or it could be very new. But it's something that is there and you're not quite sure where you're at with it or what's happening and it's there and then it's bothering you. It bothers you. Yeah. So what I would like you to do tonight is to have a look at that, very gently, very kindly, have a look at that and ask yourself, try to sort it out, try to boil it down and ask yourself, why? Why am I feeling this? And what's going on? And why is this happening? And try to boil it down until you try to get a very clear, root of what's going on, a very clear root of what's going on. Yeah. So that's more an analytical meditations, which are really helpful when we're trying to have some clarity in our minds. Yeah, we're trying to develop clarity. Yeah.
So you're not necessarily trying to identify the emotion.
Well, that's more. No, it's more. I mean, you might want to do that, but you first have to be quite clear of what is happening in the situation. Yeah, because that's more emotional intelligence, which is great. If you can actually boil it down to identify if it's an emotion, but then you go even further. You can ask yourself, why I'm having that emotion? What is behind that? And then what is behind? You're trying to really unravel, what's going on. Yeah? So these two type of meditations combined, they're very, very practical, very useful for our lives. Yeah. So it's not only trying to calm the mind, but we are trying to sort out our wounds. We're trying to heal the mind. Yeah. When you heal the mind, then you will be able slowly to have more and more and more wisdom, more and more clarity. Yeah. So analytical meditations are to develop wisdom. Placement meditations, like the ones that we're doing here together, are to develop concentration. These two together, very good for clarity. Yeah, these two together, very good for clarity. Yeah, yeah. So with so you want to have it. You want to have a try tonight. I'm doing that. Yeah, try it out. See how it goes. Again, tomorrow we can talk about it in a very conducive, confidential environment. About it. We don't have to talk about the actual issue, but how we went through the process. Yeah. Well, I'd like you to have a try. But yeah, just identify something that is triggering you and ask why. And when you have an answer, ask again, okay, but why? And again, okay, but why? If there's an emotion there involved, ask why. Why I have it, what it is, and why I have it. Try to have it really clear. You might feel a little bit uncomfortable because you might unravel or unpack something that is not like. But what we do when we unpack things is that we bring light in. You're allowing it to have space to be. Because normally these things we just, because we're so busy in our daily lives, that all these things happen and we just like, we just kind of bury something so deep, And so it's going to be very difficult even to meditate or to concentrate if we have all these buried things around, But by, sharing some light, they become a little bit more spacious. You're able to hold them with lightness. Yeah. So, so with this practice, this particular retreat is focused on, the placement meditations, the ones to develop concentration, with clarity, but really, really, really beneficial to bringing the analytical. And these two things, very good formula, to have more and more clarity, Okay, so I would suggest very highly, that if you have, if you see the benefits of the practice, if you see the benefits, to continue it, to continue the practice. Yeah. So how you continue? Well, every day you can decide if you want to wake up a little bit earlier. Huh? So I normally suggest don't do it longer than 20 minutes. Don't do it for the beginning. Don't do it what. So tomorrow I'll write down the whole structure. But just try to see how. Try to, while you're still in the group, see how you're feeling with that. Waking up early a little bit. Every morning. And you do your practice. You do a little bit of your breathing, and then with practice and practice, then you will see good results. Just a weekend, it will be quite difficult. Yeah. Okay. So just to wrap it up a little bit, from your experience as as a human being in this complicated world, from your experience of your own experience and with the experience of others, what are the main difficulties that we are all having these days? From your own experience and from your experience of others, what are the main difficulties that we're having these days? Yeah, anxiety, fear, lack of connection. Huh? What do you mean? Height. Oh, hate. Sorry, I understood height. Okay. Oh, hate. Yeah, yeah. Hate. Yeah. Ignorance.
I think we like to sort things into categories of like, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. And I think sometimes the sorting of things is not constructive.
Okay.
Because it teaches us to kind of judge everything, and then it's very hard for some people to allow other people to be in other, conditions.
Sure. So judgmental minds,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. Insecurity. Yeah. Power. Distractions. Loneliness. Addictions. Yeah.
I guess the list is endless.
Yeah, it is. But it's good to be aware of them, So what is the main problem there? with all these things, all these problems? What is the main thing? What is really going wrong? What is really going wrong, do you think?
You say what is going wrong,
Mm-hmm.
why we have all these words and problems.
Wait, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just going to say because we're all on the same planet
Mm-hmm.
and we're all made of energy, and everybody's way of thinking, their way of doing things, dominating all of that energy goes around, and everyone picks up on it, and that's where it can easily get us scared, fear, and all of that because we're all connected.
Sure. What were you going to say, Kat? Yeah, so then what is the main problem there?
Perspective.
Huh?
Perspective.
Perspective?
Love.
Ignorance and love?
I think it's we give our power away to all those things. Like we feel like they control us rather than learning how to harness our own awareness and consciousness so that we're not kind of a slave to all these different.
Okay, so we're saying that maybe you're talking about awareness and and consciousness and all this. So we're talking about that the main thing is there's a problem with our minds, right?
Yeah.
There's a problem with the minds, the way that we are relating to ourselves and the way that we relate to others, right? It's like our minds are very, very destructive at the moment. Very, very convoluted, very destructive, very untrained. Yeah. Because if you think about it, everything comes from mind. If you think about it, everything. I'm not saying the bottom and all that, but your experiences, not only the way that you experience the world, but the decisions that you take. It's all mind. You're continuously deciding things. It's a mental process. You're continuously deciding things. So what we're saying here is that if the main problem is the mind, you know, because from the mind you're deciding things, yeah. From the mind you're deciding things, and you act with your body and with your speech, right? So you make decisions, and you act with your body and your speech, yeah. But initially, everything comes from mind. So if we have all these problems and the list is endless, and you boil it down again, you boil it down, and you realize that the problem is the mind. So here with these practices, we're healing that mind. You see? The main creator of your reality, we're healing that mind. Yeah. So if we can do that, then your experiences will be. You were talking about power. You were talking about hatred. You were talking about connecting with others and all that, right? So we don't have control of anything. We don't have control of our bodies, of our environment, but we can have control of our minds. You see? So if you have control of your mind, then instead of being so reactive and all that, you're more responsive. Responsive means that you have, so responsibility is that you have the ability to respond. Yeah? And you can do that if you have that ability to respond. Then you take responsibility of your mind. Yeah? And by taking care of yourself, yeah, you're taking care of the mind, in a way you're taking care of others. Because if you're sorting yourself out, then the way that you will relate to others will be more, thoughtful, mindful, loving, compassionate. It makes sense, right? So it's like that. It's like we're trying to heal the creator of your reality and the way that you're going to influence others, because we're continuously influencing others. With every single thing that we do, you will affect someone else. Even a tiny little minuscule insect, you're influencing someone else or affecting someone else, you see? So by healing our minds and seeing the importance of this practice, it gives you the energy to engage in it, because it's not easy. But you see the benefits, you see? Okay, so I'll leave it at that. And then we have a little break now. Yeah, a half an hour break. And then they come back at 4 to the yoga. Yeah, yoga hall. But while you're here, just think about the things, Is what she's saying true? Just check. Don't just take it, take it on board. But just, check. It's like, okay, am I creating my reality? Check. Check. If I train my mind, it is beneficial. How it will influence others, you know? Do your own analysis. Do your own analysis too. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you.